All right, 19 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Wednesday morning. I am in the audio business, obviously. I work in a radio station, and I've kind of always been fascinated with recording sounds. And I had one of those handheld recorders with me. One of the times I was visiting my mother shortly before she passed away, and I was just asking her questions. Now, I wasn't interviewing her. I wasn't doing like I do here as a job. I was just talking to her, and I was just recording what she was saying because I thought, she's not going to be around much longer.
That was beautiful.
It was beautiful. Anyway, so, I did that and kind of forgot about it. And then one day, a couple years after she passed away, I was listening to the recording. And on the recording, I asked my mother, Mom, remember when we were kids? You'd always take us on Thanksgiving to the parade in New York City. Where did we stand?
Aww.
I said, where did we stand? And she told me where we stood. And I said to you, Robin, I want to go see the parade again.
Yes.
I want to go. I haven't seen that parade since I was a kid, except for maybe on TV. And so we're going to stand, sort of, kind of, where we used to stand when I was a kid. Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing.
For those who are interested, if you're a New Yorker, it was just down from Columbus Circle. Anyway, so it's a wonderful idea, really. There's a deck of cards that I want to tell you about. Allison Gilbert is on the phone to really give us the information. She has been on everything: CNN, Fox, ABC, NPR, the New York Times. This is an awesome idea. Just questions, just to stimulate, some conversations between you and somebody you care about. They don't have to be close to the end of their lives. You could ask a child these questions, and I think this will be a wonderful thing. Allison Gilbert, have the Talk of a Lifetime conversation cards is what it's called. Good morning, Allison. What a great idea this is.
I know. It's exceptional. Good morning. I'm so glad to talk to you guys this morning.
Yeah, you too. Where are you? Where are you calling from?
I'm in New York.
You're in New York.
Well, you mentioned New York, and that's exactly where I am. And in fact, one of the incredibly helpful questions in the NFDA Have the Conversation of a Life, the Have the Talk of a Lifetime conversation cards is, in fact, really reflects what you just said, which is, what is your most cherished childhood memory?
Wow. Yeah.
And so if you think of that for yourself or for your family or friends, I mean, that's a really easy, low-hanging fruit question that can give you lots of fun information.
Yeah. Do you know what would be fun, too? I was thinking about this in terms of giving these cards, let's say, to my son, who's 31. So I would say, Alex, I want you to ask me these questions, not because I want to answer them, but because I wonder what else will be stimulated in his mind. You know what I mean? Because I think what you've done here is you've created a starting point. Don't you? I mean, do you see it that way?
So.
You ask a question, and that leads to a secondary question, and a third, whatever the next word is, tertiary?
Well, yeah, definitely. So the wonderful tool in these Have the Talk of a Lifetime conversation cards is that it's easy. It's like a deck of cards. There's 50 cards to a deck, and each one has a different question. And so if you listen to the answers, you can go, of course, on your own and kind of ask your own follow-up questions. But, sometimes having these talks, you don't really know where to begin or how to continue. And so each card has a different question that is really not about being, morbid or bringing you down. They're really about lifting you up.
Exactly.
And so two more examples could be, just to kind of give listeners an idea, is who has been the most influential person in your life? And so I'll ask you guys, who has been the most influential person in your life?
Gee. Oh, wow. That's a tough one. So many people. The lady to my right, Robin, has been very influential to me.
And I would say Larry as one.
But there's so many people, really. That's a hard one. Do you know which question I
Well,
like?
that's the thing.
Tell me.
Yeah, I mean, the fun thing is
How about
that,
you?
these sometimes don't have easy answers, right? Sometimes they require reflection.
Yeah. I can imagine at the Thanksgiving table, for example, bringing. We should bring these to Thanksgiving. Anybody can get these cards. That's a good thing. Do we have a long interview or short interview?
Short.
Just a little short one.
Yes.
Allison, I want to tell you one of my favorite ones. Tell me about the time you got into trouble as a child. Isn't that a great? Isn't that a great question? That's a beautiful.
It is a
question.
great question.
I have way too many of those.
Yeah. What happened?
I have way.
Can I? You asked us one. I want to. What? Tell me about your time. What did you do?
Oh my gosh, when did I not get in trouble? I don't know. I just, I had one of those, childhoods where I was always kind of pushing the limits a little bit in school. And so my children love hearing those, stories because it makes me a little bit more relatable as mom. I have 2 teenagers. And so to have those moments of connection with them is really incredible. And that's why the National Funeral Directors Association is giving away these cards for free.
Wait a minute. I didn't know these were free, but I was laughing because you totally did a great job avoiding the question.
She's a professional.
All right,
she knows how to do this.
I'm gonna tell you mine. Okay, can I tell you mine? Okay, now as a
yes, of course.
Right.
I'd love to hear it.
All right, child, 14 years old. I'm still a child, so this counts, right? So I'm with my friend, and he dares me to buy condoms, right? And it's October. In fact, it's October 31st. It's Halloween.
Oh.
So we get the condoms. I didn't have any girlfriend, and I had no way of knowing what to do with them. But anyway, I put them in my pocket. And I forgot they were in my pocket. And the next morning, I'm waking up with my mother gathering the laundry. And I'm thinking, oh, my God. So that's when I got in trouble right there.
Oh, my gosh. That is unbelievable. I love it. I love it. You know what's amazing is that, in terms of that story, I wonder, that may be the kind of story you don't want to share on social media, but if there were a story that came up from using these Have the Talk of a Lifetime conversation cards, one awesome way to kind of have that story go further, right, to impact more of your friends and more of your family to kind of learn the history that you share. That's a fun story, right? That's a fun, clever story, is to post things on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, post these, funny lessons and, even use the hashtag. There's a hashtag that we're using for National Family History Month, which is in October, called hashtag Family Flashback. And so that may not be the story that you choose to share, but why not amplify the power of
You're editing my answer right there. Allison, do you know what we did earlier though? We were playing this a little bit, and every time there was a question, every time there was a question that had the word ever, we also asked never. Like what's the most favorite memory ever, and then maybe the most favorite memory never. In other words, what did you not do that you wish was something you had done? That kind of a thing. Oh,
I love that. That's a good one. That's a great way of kind of tweaking this. That's a smart idea. I love it.
So these are free?
These are 100% free. So if I could tell folks, I can tell listeners where to get them.
Yes.
So if you just Google really easily funeralservicefoundation.org, or you just Google funeral service 50 cards, you will come up with a link that literally shows you how to get the cards 100% for free. And you mentioned that you can do these, cards at Thanksgiving. I 100% agree. I'll even take it one step further. I would say they're so small, right? It's a deck of cards. Put them in the car with you.
Yeah,
so as you're driving to Thanksgiving dinner and, kids are bored or teens are bored, or even the passenger and near the driver, wants to kind of make conversation, this is really fun.
It is. They are really, they're very thought-provoking too, and they are for all ages, and you might find a bit of family history you did not know and treasure that.
But see, if you're in the funeral business, so at my funeral, I hope I can get people to laugh, and if after I'm on the other side, I can get them to laugh with one of my silly answers like the one that you were uncomfortable with. That'd be awesome. If my son got up at that podium, does anybody else have anything to say? My son gets up. Yeah, let me tell you a story. I asked my dad when he got in trouble as a kid, and he told me the condom story. I think I would be in heaven. Just God would say to me, You are something else, aren't you?
That's right. That's right.
You set him up for that.
Well, you know what? Sometimes, the funny, condom stories, those stories that are a little bit off color, those are so memorable, right? So why not share them and make that a part of the colorful way of, making sure stories are passed on. I was really struck, there was this amazing conversation that I overheard the other day when two friends of mine were talking. And one of them had no idea that a certain story happened to their parent before they passed away. It only came out during, the funeral service and, the wake that followed. And so it would have been so fun to have known that story when the parent was still living. So those regrets are totally avoidable. If we share those stories now, we amplify our capacity for finding joy.
Allison, you sound as sweet as can be. Thank you so much for being on our show. Give out the website one time. We've got like 15 seconds.
Yeah, 100%. It's called funeralservicefoundation.org. And if you Google 50 cards, you will find the exact link you need to get these free, wonderful, have the talk of a lifetime conversation cards.
Absolutely free. Allison Gilbert, thank you again for being on our show. We'll be right back.
I'm Chris Foster. President Trump's on his way to Las Vegas to meet with first responders and survivors of Sunday night's massacre at a country music festival. He says police are doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, they're learning a lot more, and that'll be announced at the appropriate time. It's a very, very sad day for me, personally. Thank you.
59 people died of the more than 500 hurt, around 100